Hello, my name is Noah Fox, and I am completing this mock interview for the Small Business Management class at Tiffin University. I have a background in behavioral health as a case manager, helping people with substance use disorder navigate their first earliest stages of sobriety. This role required strong operational structure, cross functional collaboration, and performance accountability. I'll answer these questions using the STAR method to provide clear, measurable examples. So the first question, can you describe your experience with managing a team in your previous job? In my previous role as a case manager, our department functioned independently. So each case manager handled their own caseload, and there was limited alignment around shared objectives, progress tracking, collaborative problem solving, all of that kind of stuff. This created silos. Everybody was on an island with their own objectives, and it reduced visibility into team-wide performances. Although I wasn't formally supervising the department, I recognized that we needed more structure and collective accountability. So I implemented bi-weekly case management meetings designed to be efficient and outcome-driven. 3 to 4 days prior, I would send an editable agenda so that staff could prepare, see what was going to be discussed, and or contribute to that agenda. Meetings were capped at 30 minutes and focused strictly on barriers, measurable progress, action planning. And so after each meeting, I sent structured minutes with clearly assigned responsibilities and follow-up timelines with staff assigned. The impact was significant. We shifted from operating as individual contributors to functioning as a coordinated department. Accountability improved because action items were documented. Team morale increased as we were sharing measurable wins, success stories with each other, and more importantly, alignment strengthened because we understood our collective objectives and supported each other strategically rather than working in isolation. Question 2, can you tell me about a time you helped motivate others to do a task that was less than desirable? So in that same setting, consistent documentation and enforcement of rule violations was an ongoing challenge. Staff often viewed enforcing the rules as uncomfortable and time-consuming, which led to inconsistency across shifts. The risk was operational instability, so unclear expectations weakened both culture and outcomes. I focused on reframing accountability as a clinical and operational necessity rather than a punitive action. So I communicated how consistency protects staff, it supports clients in their recovery, it strengthens program integrity. I was able to streamline documentation wherever possible and modeled consistent enforcement myself to set the standard. Over time, compliance improved, enforcement became consistent across shifts. I would say team cohesion strengthened because my expectations were no longer ambiguous. That experience reinforced my belief that effective motivation comes from connecting daily tasks to larger organizational purpose. Finally, question 3, please give me an example of a time you were under stress to meet a deadline and discuss the results. So as a case manager, I maintained a caseload of 50 to 70 clients while managing court reports, discharge planning, regulatory documentation, and case notes. So there were periods where multiple high-stakes deadlines converged simultaneously. Failure to meet any of these deadlines would have resulted in legal and compliance consequences. So to manage that pressure, I prioritized based on risk and urgency. I implemented structured time blocking for documentation. If I needed to set aside a block of the day just for, court reports, I would do that. I also maintained a real-time tracking system for deliverables, so I communicated proactively while completing priorities. If they needed escalation or adjustment, we could message that into the Teams chat. So as a result, I consistently met deadlines with no compliance issues and maintained documentation quality. That experience strengthened my ability to remain composed, structured, and solutions-oriented under pressure. I would say overall, my leadership approach centers around building systems that improve accountability, alignment, and measurable outcomes. I focus on structure, communication, and sustainability to ensure both team performance and organizational success. Thank you for your time.